Oh, hello. Do you know what day it is, then?
I do now.
Yeah, Easter Sunday.
Yeah, well, why didn't somebody tell me that 2 hours ago, and then I could have had a day off?
50 years to this very day, it were all hell.
Oh, well, it's not so clever today, is it?
No, important things were happening at Battle of Leith when we stemmed the German advance. And I were right in thick of it.
Well, you had to make your own fun in them days,
Fun?
didn't you?
Is that what you call fun?
Well, it passed the time away.
Look, it was turning point of war. And if us old fogies, as you youngsters like to think we want to be called, hadn't been there to stop 'em, you wouldn't have been here today.
Mr. Tatlock, the way I feel about things at the moment, I wish t'other side had won.
Well, I don't... Did you hear that, Mrs. Caldwell? Fun. Wishes Jerry's had won.
Oh, you don't really mean that.
Not me, him.
Oh, Dennis. Oh, well, Dennis has got a lot on his mind at the moment.
Yeah, and so had our generals when British troops evacuated Armistead.
Well, I think Mrs. Tanner's to blame in the first place.
Look, there's enough comics round here without you starting.
It's all right, you standing there joking, with me trying to help Dennis and Jenny and Ina. I feel I'm right in the middle of a battlefield.
Go on, mate. Nice name.
Thanks very much.
He's an accounts clerk, does books.
Audit clerk.
Same difference, adding up money for other people. Oh, paperwork, of course.
Well, you need a clerk in the family in this shop, you know. Folks around here have the eyes out of your head.
Oh, I've not put good money in the shop to lose it, Mrs. Tanner. Not to lose it, not for anyone.
What exactly is an audit clerk?
Same as I'm doing now, only with big firms. Profits and losses and bank balances.
I wish somebody would teach me how to cut my losses.
He's learning to be an accountant, you know. Always got his nose stuck in a book, haven't you, Gordon?
Good to have a trade at your fingertips.
Trade, Mrs. Tanner. It's a profession.
Ah, well, I wouldn't really know
Know the difference, Mrs. Tanner? Well, a tradesman's a man who puts on overalls and rolls his sleeves up, and a professional's one who wears a white shirt and shows his cuffs, that's all.
See.
You got my white shirts ready, ma'am?
Oh, I'll iron them in just a tick. We didn't know whether to open or not with it being Easter Monday, you know.
Yeah, I know. Well,
Mrs. Tanner.
Yep.
Have you tried these new large tins of meat?
We've tried everything.
Oh,
love.
but this is new. 3 and 10. Only come in last Thursday. We had some ourselves, didn't we, Leslie? In a pie.
Yeah, lovely. Meatier than real meat, fresher than when it was on the hoof. You can hear it mooing.
Give over, that's Radio 1.
3 and 10.
No, you can't go wrong. If you don't like the meat, you've got a ready-built transistor.
Oh, okay, you've convinced me, I'll take it.
Thanks. All right, love. Thanks, love. Problems, aren't they? Oh, well, boys, bringing them up.
I won't argue there.
Some say girls are worse, but I don't know. I think boys can be difficult. They got minds of their own.
Well, it depends on the boy and the state of his mind. I mean, take mine, for
Mind
instance.
you, I can't complain about him.
Gordon.
He's a good lad. Ain't he, Leslie? Leslie?
Oh, yes, the best.
Never went out and played with the others, you know. Stayed in and read. Always got his nose in a book. I tell him he'll ruin his eyes.
Hey, you've missed his ears. Never mind. He'll win through, and so will you at this rate.
Tra.
He's a cheeky devil, Dennis Tanner. Said he wished Jerry's had won war.
I think he's fighting a bit of a rear guard of his own at the moment, Uncle Albert.
Fighting? Him fighting? He doesn't know what fighting is.
Well, I don't think he actually wants to kill anybody.
Oh, it's a pity they ever stopped conscription. It done him good to be in uniform, made him buck his ideas.
Yeah, well, perhaps there's another solution somewhere.
And that's the trouble with the young fellas these days.
What? Not getting a chance to kill somebody or get killed themselves?
Well, it'd have made men of them.
Or corpses.
Now, look, you can't have a war without fellas being killed.
The whole point is, Uncle Albert, why do you have to have the war in the first place?
Oh, look, you should have tried telling that to Kaiser. Or that rotten little upstart with a moustache.
Steady on. Dennis Tanner must have upset him, mustn't he?
Yeah, not only him, Minnie Caldwell as well. You know, they've got no respect for history or the men what saved civilization.
On at you a bit, were they?
50 years today, important things were happening at Battle of Leith. And as far as they're concerned, it might be something out of comic cuts.
Yeah, I know, Uncle Albert. It was no joke.
You don't have to tell me.
Matter of fact, that's why I came round.
Oh, I see. I thought it was just to say you couldn't go out for a run round.
It's looking like rain again, isn't it?
If you ask me, you know, it's a waste of money taxing that car. You never use it.
Oh, it's this book, just out.
Oh, and what's it about? How to do your own car repairs, is it?
The Battle of Leith.
A book, you say?
The beginning of the end, 1918.
Just out?
Yep, written by one of the staff officers out to plan it.
And it's taken him 50 years to find out what happened. How long did it take him to plan it?
Oh, it's a good book.
Yeah. Well, do you think that I could just have a...
Borrow it? Yes, come on, get your coat and we'll go round and pick it up. I'll tell you what,
What?
We might launch an attack on the rovers while we're at it.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you one very important thing that Battle of Lee's proved. Germans don't like cold steel.
Hmm?
Bayonets.
No, I shouldn't think the English were over keen either.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Caldwell.
I thought you might be in there.
Did you want me, love?
No, Mrs. Tanner, I wanted to have a little talk about Easter Monday.
Oh, it'll probably lay in love like it usually does.
I think it's these bank holidays that are causing it all.
What, the rain?
No, the shortage of money in the world and all this arguing
Oh,
about gold.
I wouldn't worry about it if I were you, Chuck.
Well, I mean, supposing we had bus holidays...
Look,
and
Mrs. Caldwell, I hope you'll excuse me, but I'm in a bit of a hurry, love.
Did you hear that church service on the wireless yesterday morning?
Oh, no, I didn't. I missed it.
He said that Easter was the time to start all over again, to forgive people and make friends.
Oh, yes?
It come from near Runcorn. Well, I'm just going to get a drink for me and Jenny. She's such a nice girl.
Mrs. Caldwell,
Yes, Mrs. Tanner.
I think you're an interfering little busybody.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
But I think you might be right.
Left, right, party, halt! Right, Sergeant Tatlock, I will engage the enemy. You go and attack the headquarters, and I'll have a pint.
I thought you were going to buy me a drink.
Are you saying you will not lead the attack?
No, you're going to do that with your hand in your pocket.
Very well, I've got no alternative but have you shot for cowardice.
Do you know, I've never met a hero yet what we're willing to pay for the first round.
So, I'm the enemy, am I?
The Kaiser's own roller skate course.
Am I ready?
What, the Kaiser's own?
No, the enemy.
No, it's just a ruse to get Uncle Albert here.
Here, well, I'll tell you what. I'll go in and I'll order a pint and a rum.
Hear that? Armistead's terms.
And I'll tell them you'll pay for it when you come in.
No, Mrs. Tanner, you are not the enemy.
I'm not exactly everybody's friend, am I?
Well, you're Val's friend. That's good enough for me.
What was it you just said to Albert Tatlock? Something about Armistead's terms? I think I'll work some out of my own.
Oh, come on. It's Easter Monday. You don't want to stick your nose in a book.
You don't know what I want.
Ah. All work and no play.
Oh, boy, I know. Look, I'd like to get on with it if you don't mind.
What is it?
Law relating to bankruptcy.
Well, let's see. Depreciation of the value of stock. Well, let's hope that that doesn't occur in this shop.
Yes, let's hope so, eh, Dad?
But I don't know why you have to go burying yourself in books when it's
Burying
holiday.
myself? Yes, I suppose I do, but then again, you bury yourself, don't you, Dad?
Oh, like the proverbial ostrich.
Aye, the proverbial proverbs.
Yes, well, let me tell you, there's a wealth of wisdom in those books, my lad.
Romantic cliches.
Oh, well, perhaps, maybe.
Look, half the people in the world today are living in misery because of them well-worn cliches.
You talk about me and my proverbs, but you didn't come out with a bad one then yourself, did you?
Give me figures every time. At least they're safe. They add up. But people and proverbs never do.
Bit cynical.
Well, there have been one or two events in my life to make me that way. Haven't they, Dad?
So I can't tempt you away from your books.
No, thanks.
There's a good picture on. I thought perhaps you'd like to come and see it with me. Your mum's busy sorting things out. To err is human, to forgive...
Divine!
Yes, Pope's essay on man. Try reading it sometime.
I have read it. But I didn't find a chapter on you in there.
There was no telly in those days, so we had to make our own amusements.
Money. What we need is money.
Arguments about money lead straight into the divorce courts.
Hey, into the divorce courts.
Oh, aye, we're not even married yet and already talking about other things.
Me and Armistead used to go to the park and listen to the band. Oh, they played lovely things. We had the Mikado and William Tell, and the wind used to blow all the tunes away. Only the tulips made you feel warm and you forgot all about the wind. Do you like tulips, Jenny?
Tulips?
Yeah. Don't they make you feel warm?
Yes, Mrs. Caldwell.
flat. We must try and get a flat.
Well, rent one, you mean?
No, it's money down the drain.
Buy one?
Yeah.
It's impossible, you know it is, love.
Well, we could save or borrow the money.
Well, before we're married or after?
I think we've had this conversation before somewhere.
Oh, it was lovely in the park together. Everybody used to go there. And then there was that bench that all the courting couples used to make for. It was hidden by the branches of a big yew tree. We carved our names on that bench. I wonder if it's still there. Did you ever leave your names on a bench?
Well, only on me desk at school. Now, who was it? I can't remember.
Of course, things was much slower in those days. We were courting for 3 years. We used to often go back and look at our names. We were afraid the park keeper might have rubbed them off, only he never did.
Why not, Mrs. Caldwell?
Oh, I don't know. We never knew what his name was, but I'm sure it was there.
What about children?
Oh, they're very important.
Worth saving for?
Why, do they cost a lot of money?
Yeah, if they're born in their own home, they do.
Me a father. Funny.
Yeah. See, it is worth saving for.
How do you know?
Well, there you were at home, I could see you, with all your kids all around you.
We'll make it, you'll see. Why did you wait 3 years to get married, Mrs. Caldwell?
There's a personal question if ever I heard one.
Oh, it's all right, Jenny. When he were in the army most of the time, we only went to the park to listen to the band when he was on leave.
That would do you good, Dennis Tanner.
What would do me good?
A spell in the army.
Would you miss me?
Yeah. But think of all them smashing leaves.
Any road, it's not going to happen. The world needs me for a salesman.
Big head.
Oh.
Oh, I know, Mrs. Tanner. You're just in time for...
Yes, I'd like a cup of tea if that's what you're offering me, Mrs. Caldwell.
Have you come to see Jenny?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I have.
Yes, I thought you had.
What do you want to see her about?
None of your business.
She is my business.
Here, come on. Now, let's leave them to it.
Cigarette? Mrs. Caldwell says at night you can hear the dogs barking from the ships.
Well, if I open the window, I can.
Pity I didn't know. We could have had a chat and passed away the time.
We never seem to know how to talk without having a row.
Perhaps we talked about the wrong things.
Why, is Dennis the wrong thing?
Perhaps we should have talked about each other.
What's there to say?
Look, kid. Look through that window there. That's been 40-odd years of my life. Filth on the pavements. Smoke from
It's
the
the
trees.
same where I come from. You get hardened.
I lived poshed for a couple of months with the wrong fella. So I came back here, and here I am for keeps.
If it's the right bloke, it doesn't matter where you live.
You stuck to your guns, I'll say that for you.
Yeah, that's why.
I wonder if I would have done the same thing.
If you'd had the right bloke, yes, Mrs. Tanner, you would.
Jenny, I'm sorry.
Do you want a cup of coffee?
Oh, come on. Let's go to the pictures.
I said no.
No?
No thanks, if you like.
Well, do you good, to break?
Me good? Is it me you're concerned about?
No, both of us.
That's a bit better. Do you good, you mean, don't you?
No, I meant both you and me, lad.
Oh, father and son, eh? Father and mother, too? How about husband and wife? I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll all just sit here and we'll have a nice little game of happy families.
Well, why not? I'm trying my best.
Because the trouble with happy families is the game's ruined once the happy father uses his fists on the happy mother.
Can't you forget?
No.
Not forgive?
Let's try. But it's up to you, isn't it?
Well, you might try and use a little bit of understanding.
How do you expect me to understand when you don't understand yourself? Well, you say you don't.
Look, when I get depressed,
I know. You start drinking.
I don't like drinking, but it seems to somehow clear my head. Does that seem a silly thing to you?
No. Drink, the nation's tranquilizer.
You got that out of one of those books.
Well, it wasn't one of mine.
No, well, 9 men out of 10 live lives of
Yes,
fire.
Dad, but they face up to it.
They don't go off on a bender and get violent and beg everyone to forgive them.
All right. I admit that I'm the weak one.
You two lads having a nice little natter, are you?
Yeah, that's right, Maggie.
Why don't you sit down in your chair, Leslie? I'll have a pot of tea ready in a jiffy.
No, thanks, love. I'll go and stand at the shop doorway and watch the people going past.
Who was it says, the older you get, the wiser?
Probably that fella at the corner shop.
Yeah, he's parts of it, isn't he?
Yeah. You go for a tin of sardines, you come out with a thought for today.
Oh, not with her. It's 2 tins of sardines.
Yeah. And a licorice stick, good for the complexion.
Yeah. Well, whoever said it was up the wall. I was a damn sight wiser when I was your age than I am now. I knew where I was going. At least I thought I did.
It's a bit like a game, isn't it? You get shipwrecked on a desert island, miss one throw.
You had to miss half a dozen throws when you came to the Tanner household.
You mean I had to go back to the start?
Jenny, I'm sorry.
No, it was
It was all my fault. Don't let's start arguing about whose fault it was. It was just... well, coming back and finding you here in my place.
I know. Dennis shouldn't have brought me, really.
That's it. Let's blame Dennis.
Yeah,
Well,
why
it's
not?
all his fault, wasn't it?
Of course it
I mean,
was.
he should have been more predictable when I came back, filling the house with lions and tigers or something
Dennis,
like that.
predictable.
Well, he is predictable in a sort of way, isn't he?
Yeah. Like he's got his ear to the keyhole now.
But of course.
He's not there.
We'll just give them another minute.
I only hope you're right, Mrs. Caldwell.
Oh, of course I'm right. She wants to be friends with Jenny. Somebody gave her a little talking to this morning. Mind you, she'd have been friends without me.
Yes, you're quite right, Mrs. Caldwell. Sky.
Sky?
I spy. Me and Mrs. Caldwell always play this game on Easter Monday. Now, you could have said steeple or smoke or soot, but no, you were right first time.
Blooming daft.
Not at all. It's very educational. Mind you, I know what you were going to say.
What?
You were going to say I ought to be doing bayonet practice.
Well, it's a damn sight else to that soft game.
Oh, but it can be very dangerous.
And I dare say you still wish the Jerrys had won, eh?
Not at all. My domestic circumstances have now taken a rosy turn, so I'm now prepared to become a friendly neutral.
Oh, well then I've got that for you.
A white feather?
Just what I've always wanted. I'm saving up for a feather bed. Come on, Mrs. Caldwell. Something beginning with R.
Yeah, well, with you, a rum.
Plenty of people looking at window, but nobody's buying.
No.
I won't bother opening next bank holiday. Here, we'll have a day in Rill.
Yes.
Do you remember when we went to Colwyn Bay and took steamer to Menai Bridge? You were joking about passports. Cheer up, Leslie. Lost your tongue.
No.
Gordon?
Yes.
Well, of course, he's very busy just now, with exams coming on.
I asked him to come to the pictures, but he just didn't want to know.
Never mind. Come on, I've just made that pot of tea. It'll get cold.
I'll be along.
Are you sure you're sure of?
Yes, I am.
I don't know. Daft question to ask that, really. Don't know why I asked it. Thought I was sure. Thousands of times.
Do you know what I like most about Dennis? He's honest.
Honest? Do you really think so?
Why, don't you?
Well, I suppose yes, in his own particular way.
Oh, yeah, that's what I mean, in his own funny way. Oh, I know he tries to pull the wool over your eyes all the time, but he doesn't get away with it, does he?
He's a bad liar, if that's what you mean.
That is exactly what I mean.
You've got him taped, haven't you, love?
Well, that bit, anyway.
Well, that's not bad for starters.
Pig's hogwash. Cowfer.
I beg your pardon?
That book you lent me.
Oh, Battle of Lease.
Battle of Lease me foot. It's poppycock.
I see.
Yes, just all blooming lot of cob's wallop.
I find it very interesting myself.
Yeah, but you don't know about it, do you?
Well, I wasn't there, if that's what you mean.
Yeah, well, I were. And you can take it from me that this fellow's got his facts all wrong.
Oh, come off it, Uncle Albert. A man doesn't go to press with a book like that without checking up on his facts.
It's a whole lot of cob's wallop. And I should know, shouldn't I?
Well, you hardly get the whole picture from the private soldier's point of view.
Yes, but I'm not talking about the old picture. I'm only talking about that little bit that I know from personal experience. And there's not many of us know, you know. What I mean to say is that there's not many of us left.
Yeah, well, I'll grant you that.
Any road, I'm glad you lent me that book.
Oh, well, good.
Yes,
good.
because I'm going to expose him.
What?
I'm going to expose him. I'm going to show him up. I'm going to make him a laughing stock.
Well, do you think that's wise?
It's my duty. There's something for Gazette, that is. What he's written's misleading. It's a pervert of history.
But are you sure you're right, Uncle Albert? I mean, it was a long time ago.
Oh, I see. Trying to send me memories at fault now, is that
Well,
it?
not at fault exactly, but it might have been
I know.
clouded a bit.
I put my socks on wrong way round sometimes, but this means a big thing to me, this does.
Your finest hour, eh?
Now what are you grinning at?
I wasn't.
Yes, you are. Think it funny, don't you?
If you're talking about war, no, I don't.
Oh. Well, we'd better hear what you think about it then, hadn't we?
Well, all right. Apart from a lot of things about which I could go on all day, I think it's a dead waste of time.
Last war and all.
Any war.
I see. So you'd have left Hitler to get on with it, would you? You'd have left him to do it on his own.
Yeah, look, let's just cool down a bit, shall we?
Oh, you don't know what you're
No,
talking
well,
about.
probably not.
And I'm not going to be humoured either.
Well, I wasn't.
You know naught about it.
Look, I know that war is terrible.
How terrible?
Look, for crying out loud, Uncle Albert, I'm just...
Look, how terrible. Have you ever seen it? Have you ever wiped another fellow's blood off your boot? Have you ever tried to disentangle your leg from somebody else's inside? Because I have. I know I'm an old man and you think there's no to me, but I've seen things that you haven't. And I know.
Yeah, well, let's just leave it at that, shall we?
Yeah, you know, now about
Yeah,
it.
okay.
I've seen it.
Look, cool down with it. I mean, if you go on like this, you're going to make yourself ill. It's only an argument.
It weren't an argument then, were it? There were a lot at stake then.
Look, I'll give you a hand. To write that letter to the Gazette.
Letter me foot. I'm going to write an article and I'm going to be paid for it.
Oh, good, great. We'll write an article then.
Yeah, and I can prove it, you know.
Good.
You don't just have to take my word for it either. Look, you go and get that typewriter of yours down here.
Yeah, well, just sit down for a bit.
Never mind about sitting down. I'm going to do it while I've got a sweat on. You go and get your typewriter down. Can I'm sorry if I got my rag out. I say I'm sorry if I got my rag out.
Yeah, sure.
Now, what's the matter?
I was just thinking about something you said.
What?
Would my generation have let Hitler get on with it?
Oh, I do think you've got it nice.
Yes, well, we've got a long way to go yet, but it's coming along, isn't it? Cozy's what we like. We like it to be cosy.
I'll just go see my dad's ready for his dinner, eh?
Right, love.
What are all the jars?
Oh, they're me herbs, them. To make rice puddings.
Well, yes, I make a lot of rice puddings.
I'll get you a bit of cinnamon and a bit of nutmeg to put in. Would you like that?
Oh, yes, please, I would. Eee, what a lot of interesting books.
Always a very big reader is Leslie. Gordon and all, of course. They're both very big readers.
Hey, Mom, will you come in here a second?
All right, love. Excuse me, just a minute, Mrs.
Yes,
Caldwell.
of course.
He's not here.
I'll be out in the street talking to somebody.
He's not there either.
Oh? Did you call him?
Well, there's not much point, is there? We know where he is, don't we?